Greetings, brothers and sisters in Christ. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. It is always good to be here with you. It is always good to have you here with me. Now let us get into the video. And before we do, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit that notification bell that you be notified each time we post a new video over here on the channel. Now, let's get into it. Russia jails Jesus of Siberia sect leader for 12 years for arming followers. You want to hear this one? Stay tuned. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Now let's get into the story. A Russian sect leader who claimed he was Jesus Christ reincarnated was sentenced to 12 years in a prison camp on Monday after being convicted of arming his followers' health and financial affairs. Now, in the world's history, there have been many dynamic and some inspiring figures, especially when it comes to the concept of religion. I mean, Islam, Buddhism, and Hinduism are just a few examples of some of the world's most popular faith. But the world's biggest and largest is Christianity, which reportedly have 2.3 billion followers. So Christianity, so-called quote-unquote Christianity, that religion, is the biggest in the world. Everywhere in the world, probably you can find someone that is saying that they are actually Christian and that their religion is Christianity, which we know there is no such thing as Christianity and religion on a whole. It is just something to divide the people, to separate the people, when we in fact should all be one. Now we must all agree that Jesus is a fascinating figure who lived a life that billions across the world know they are trying to emulate. Though Jesus walked the earth more than 2,000 years ago, there are some today who take that emulation to the extreme, to a next level, believing that they actually are Jesus Christ himself walking amongst the people. There are people like this, and this man here is one such. Now, there are many men, several men in the world today that's claiming to be Jesus, actually Jesus. And one of those men is this man here, Sergey Torup, who also go by the name Vissarion. Let me just give you a little backstory on this man. Not a lot, just enough for you to know what was he before he was Jesus reincarnation. What was he doing before all of this? Now, Sergey Torup was born in Krasnodar, Russia. Forgive me for butchering that name. In January of 1961. At the age of 18, he joined the Russian military and served his mandatory 2 years before moving to Minosinki. Once there, he worked as a traffic officer until he lost his job in 1989. Shortly after losing his job, the Soviet Union also fell. In his late 20s at the time, Torup was dealing with a lot. The only country and government he had ever known collapsed completely around him, forcing him and millions of others to reevaluate their lives. As with the disintegration of any government or society, there was ensuing chaos in different areas. One of these areas was religion. Atheism had been the policy of the previous regime. As such, a ton of new religious movements were born, including Torups. Following the loss of his job, Sergey Torup had a revelation, and this is according to Mail magazine. Torup became the second coming of Christ on August the 18th, 1990. You see how long? My gosh. Now, Torup claimed the Holy Spirit paid him a visit in his studio apartment to inform him that he was in fact the Son of God. He subsequently decided to change his name to Vissarion. Within a year of his revelation, Vissarion founded his new church called the Church of the Last Testament. Now, ABC News, this is what was recorded by ABC News. As it was still a chaotic time in this part of the world, people were searching for answers. Folks resonated with Vissarion and his teachings and began to flock him in large numbers when he started giving lectures across the Soviet Union. This is according to the New York Times. In fact, over the last 3 decades, his followers have grown into thousands. Those who decided to follow him left behind their lives in pursuit of his teaching. And this is something like sometimes the apostle talks about him. And this is something like that. I can't remember his name. I don't know, memory blocked or something. But this is just like him. When people started to go to these people churches, they give up everything, their riches, their everything, and they just put themselves in, surviving off little to nothing. And oh my gosh, I want to remember that man's name, but I can't. Oh yes, his name is Jim Jones, and we always have to come back to this man, Jim Jones, because he was a true cult leader. And looking at many of the things that he did when he was alive to his followers, you can learn from these things, and then you will know how to identify a church that is doing things that you would call cult. You would be able to recognize the cult practices. And because if you're going to a church and they're teaching a particular thing a particular way, that you shouldn't have this and you shouldn't have that, and it is a sin for you to have money, and it is a sin for you to live in big houses, and we should all just gather and live in one particular area together, and you eat when I say you eat, you breathe when I say stuff like that. It will be easy for you to identify cultism. And let me say this, human beings, we are so easy to be led astray. We just need the right person to manipulate us and tell us something that we want to hear. Many people are so easy to be led astray, and it is shocking even how easy it is for these men that are rising up saying that they are Jesus Christ, and people are believing them, not looking at their works and their actions and the things that they're doing and the things that they're really saying and the lives that they're living. People are not looking at those things and using those things to judge. And one problem, there's a big problem as well, is when you don't know the scriptures, you don't know the Bible. People will come and they will tell you that the Bible say this and the Bible say that, when really and truly it doesn't say that, it doesn't say this. It's just, we have to read it sometime for ourselves, even though some of the revelation or understanding is not for us. But at the same time, we can understand if someone say that the Bible say X when the Bible did not, and reading that scripture, we can know that the Bible didn't mean that. It didn't, that you just read, it didn't mean that. We have to take responsibility for our own self as well, and our own soul, because at the end of the day, we individually have to answer for our sins. Now, his church have been around for the last 30 years and reportedly has thousands of followers. The Church of the Last Testament, that is the name of it, isn't your typical church. Go figured. 4 years after establishing the church, Vasarian and his devotees relocated to the Kuraga region of Siberia, where they founded a settlement known as the City of the Sun, and this is according to BBC. There are also additional settlements in the region, including Abode of Dawn, where the most devout followers reside. You see what I'm talking about? This is what I'm talking about. Why these people always tell you to leave your home, leave your country, leave everywhere where you live, and come and live in some other area, gather there with everyone, because they want to control you. They want to have control over their flocks, that they can be the so-called leader that they are, and the type of leader that they want to be, and that is basically a cult leader, a false leader, someone that is going to lead these people to hell. It is the same with all of them, and I don't understand why are people not this is crazy. Why are people not taking heed? These are some things that are not new. This is not new, and this is something that they always do. I mean, it is the work of the devil, and he's doing the same thing over and over again, just in different people. That's basically it. No, I could have come and just read you the story that this man have been arrested and blah blah blah, and that's it. But I want you to understand. I want you to get an understanding of how this started, and the whole makeup of it and everything, because I want people to learn, and not to get caught in these things. Now, the fact that Vasarian communities are so isolated in the wilderness of Siberia itself makes the church stand out from other religions. In addition to the location, the practices and beliefs held by the church's adherents and their leader are also different when compared to other mainstream religious practices. And maybe that is mainstream religious practices, just sow seed and all of those foolishness. But it is no, Torup religion is far worse. Let me just say that. Both is wrong, but Torup religion is far worse, because it is basically cult practice. They were worshipping this man. Now, according to the Guardian, that is basically maybe a newspaper or something, there is a strict code of conduct for the members of the church. Vices like drinking, smoking, and swearing aren't allowed. Everyone also must comply with a vegan diet. Oh my gosh. Though there are some exceptions for new moms and infants, the exchange of money within their society also forbidden. With the not drinking and not smoking and not swearing, we have been taught that the devil comes with truth and lie, because we're not supposed to drink and we're not supposed to smoke, and we're definitely not supposed to swear. So the devil comes with truth and lies, and sometimes these men come with truth, and the people are all captivating over this truth, but unfortunately they don't know how to recognize the subtle lies that are mixed in the truth as well. And to hear that they also everyone also must comply with the vegan diet. Come on, the pastor is not going to tell you what to eat and tell you that you must eat vegan. No, this is crazy. This is crazy, man. Now, as if those tenets are not usually enough, the church also recognizes a variety of different holidays in Layu. Oh my gosh, I'm butchering some of these words here. Now, in Layu, of the traditional ones celebrated by more mainstream religion, For example, Christmas was abolished and replaced with a feast on Visarion birthday. That is January the 14th. And this is what I'm saying. These people are worshiping the man. You know, even though Christmas, the celebration of Christmas is wrong, definitely, but that doesn't mean you're going to celebrate your pastor's birthday instead. You're worshiping the man, and we should worship God. Now, their biggest celebration takes place on August the 18th every year, making the anniversary of Vissarion's first sermon in 1991. They also live in what they call the New Era, which also began on Vissarion's birthday in 1961. This is what I am saying. These people were worshiping the man. And that's the reason why when people say that we are in First Church, and when we talk about Pastor Jennings and say that thank God for him, people are saying that we're worshiping him, but quite no. On the contrary, no, we're not. We're giving due or honor to who honor is due to. And we are thanking God for this man that he sent, that we could learn and understand the things that are of God, that we as a people don't fall into these cult religion like what is happening to many people around the world right now. The Church of the Last Testament is obviously not your typical church. Though Vissarion has reportedly drawn in thousands of followers who agree with his teachings, their implementation and unusual practices did not go unnoticed. Notability, the church caught the eyes of officials in the Russian government. Additionally, the Russian Orthodox Church, which has close ties to the Russian government, has condemned the Church of the Last Testament as a cult. Though the church preaches about love and harmony with nature, all may not be as it seems. Over several decades, there have been multiple accusations against the church and its leader, and this is according to the BBC News. Vissarion and his church were accused of soliciting money from his followers, as well as emotional abuse. Some of the more disturbing allegations involved the deaths of some of his followers in the 1990s due to the harsh living conditions, lack of medical care, or even suicide. Come on, man. I've said this is nothing new. These are the same thing. These are the same reports. You know, it's the same thing. And these people are losing their lives and they're dying while they're in sin. It is so sad, you know, it is so sad. And looking at stories like these that comes out, you know, I'm so happy that the Lord lead me to First Church, that the Lord lead me to the truth, where I can hear real preaching, true preaching from an apostle that doesn't care how I feel. You know, he doesn't care how I feel, because he's preaching the truth. And if I want to like it, I like it. And if I don't want to like it, that is on me. You know, take it or leave it. He's preaching the truth. And I'm giving God thanks for this. You know, giving God thanks for this. Now, getting to the meat of the matter, due to the previously mentioned accusation, along with other charges from the government, Vissarion and two of his top aides were arrested in September of 2020. And Russia's investigative committee conduct a special operation to apprehend the three men and use helicopters to search the remote location of Vissarion's home at Abode of Dawn. This is the name of where he stayed. You know, he, of course, along with some of the more, what should I call it? Should I say important? I don't know. So, you know, some of those is right-handed. Let me use that word. You know, this is where they stayed. He, of course, along with some of the more, what should I call it? Should I say important? I don't know. So, some of those is right-handed. Let me use that word. This is where they stayed. No, he wasn't alone. He wasn't arrested alone. He was arrested with 2 men as well, and he was sentenced to 11 and 12 years in prison respectively. All 3 men deny wrongdoing. It was not immediately clear if they planned to appeal their sentence. The court also awarded 45 million rubles in damage to the victims and state prosecutor. Now, Vissarion's movement grew in popularity during the post-Soviet ideological vacuum of the 1990s and further isolated itself after the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, shutting its communes to outsiders. Now, if you can look at the pictures that are being showed of this man, you can see that he is long hair, bearded man, and this is a typical look that most of these men wear. And I think it is stemming from the painting that was painted many years ago that many people would, even until this day, some people might have those painting or that painting in their homes saying that it is actually Jesus when it is not. So this is what I would have say inspire them, to have this look, long hair and bearded and dress up in this thing like a dress thing, like I don't know the original name for it, but I definitely know that they don't call it a dress, of course. But whatever the name of it is, this is where, and all of those crucifixion shows and all of those things, this is where they get their inspiration from. Just looking at that and looking at them, it is clear to see that this is where many of them that look like this, take on this style of dressing and look, growing their hair and all of that. This is where they get it from. It is so unfortunate that these things are happening in the world, but it is what it is. And I encourage everyone to be in the know, and don't be easily fooled and drawn to these many men that are coming out saying, and believe me, there will definitely be a lot more men coming out saying that they are actually Jesus Christ when they are definitely not. Thank you for watching, brothers and sisters. I love to share these stories with you because I want people to be aware of the things that are happening across the world, and of course I will be definitely, by God's will, sharing a lot more. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, peace be.